Welcome to part 2 of all things cheating and affairs, how to recover, how to spot it, what to do, since it's such a common experience for so many of my clients. Now, another question people ask is, once they've been shattered by the infidelity, and especially if they've got kids and they've got a life together and they've built so many memories together, for a lot of people, they don't know how to trust again. And they ask me, I don't know whether to leave this relationship or rebuild the trust. What shall I do? Well, should I forgive or not? Now, how you know whether or not you should forgive your partner for cheating is you look at certain behaviors and you decide whether or not they deserve your forgiveness. And the reason I say that is because behind every affair, there's usually a meaning to it. And what I mean by that is one person may have been saying to the other person, I need this from you. They may have been communicating it for many, many years before they stepped out. They may have been telling this person, I really want more time together. I really want more affection. I really need this. And the partner kept ignoring their needs, kept ignoring their needs, kept ignoring their needs. Now, if this is the case where they had a particular need, and you can admit some accountability and say, well, I did kind of neglect this need, or maybe they needed more physical affection and I did withdraw sex for a really long time, or maybe they needed more quality time and I was too busy at work or too busy with the kids. If there is a reasonable cause, and a lot of people will say there's no excuse for cheating, well, it happens, and instead of just judging it, let's understand it. The reality is, if the cause for the cheating was reasonable, it wasn't because I'm just a sex addict and I just want to sabotage and I just don't appreciate anything my partner does and I'm just insult to injury, then maybe you shouldn't forgive them. But if they've generally been quite a good partner and they've tried to communicate this to you, and you yourself can see that you've rejected their advances and you've been rejecting their needs for connection, then you have something to work with. But if your partner has been continuously negative, continuously abusive, continuously disrespectful, and the affair was just the icing on the cake, it wasn't even the worst thing they've done. They've done far worse things. This is just another thing. Then it's time to leave. Then it's time to pack your bags and leave. Because if on the whole the marriage has been healthy or the relationship has been healthy, and if on the whole you've tried to respect each other, but you simply can't connect because there's been circumstances or kids have come or whatever it is, or maybe somebody's got an injury and they can't be physically affectionate, whatever it is, if there is a valid and understandable reason, you give it a chance. But if it's simply been years of disrespect, years of disconnect, and then they go off and cheat, then you simply start to slowly bury the relationship, because chances are there was nothing there to salvage. The other question that people ask is, how do I start trusting them again? So I understand that they've got a valid reason. I understand that maybe I wasn't being physically affectionate and I wasn't very present. I understand all of that. But I can't help but feel so awful. I can't help but not trust them. I can't help but get random pangs of stress and anxiety. I can't help it that I might be sitting there cooking, cleaning, or eating, and then randomly I'll get thoughts and I get like this trauma again. How do I get rid of this, and how do I trust my partner again? The first thing to understand is any kind of infidelity, anything that shocks you, causes a level of PTSD. And what I mean by this is you will get some flashbacks randomly and very vivid visions of what your partner would have done. And you get flashbacks every time things are calm between you and partner, and you've tried to repair things and you've gone on a nice date and you got connected. Your brain is now programmed to expect anxiety. So you might dream something really awful. You might have a thought that's really awful, and you've just had a nice recovery day and now you're filled with anger and questions. So what you have to do is, first thing is not feed the beast. You will get like an inkling to ask so many questions and ask for details and ask to see their phone. You'll ask for these things. But trust involves believing what you can't see. That's what trust actually involves. If I trust my partner, it's I believe what I can't see. If I trust God, I believe what I can't see. So if you've been traumatized by an affair and you think the recovery program involves having access to their emails, their phones, and this, that, and the other, you're not building trust. You're taking control. You're so scared of being shocked again that you want to control every aspect of their life so that they don't disturb your peace again. You can predict the pain, but that's actually not the cure. The cure is trust. It means believing them, not looking for behaviors and controlling them in order to rebuild the trust. Instead, this is what you do. Instead of going through their phone, checking their email, asking for details, instead of that, you reconnect with them. What I mean by this is chances are you'll only get these bursts of anger when you've been disconnected. You haven't seen each other for a while. You haven't been spending time together. You haven't complimented each other. You haven't been physically affectionate. Then the thoughts can't reoccur. So what you do is you try and reconnect. When those thoughts start to hit you, you find ways to reconnect, either emotionally or physically. So you spend quality time together. You might watch a movie together. You might be physically affectionate. You reestablish connection. Once you reestablish physical or emotional connection, the anger, the thoughts, those feelings, all of those will slowly start to disappear. But do not try and soothe yourself through more anxiety. Asking for more details, asking for their phone, it creates more anxiety. You'll physically shake as you start checking their phone and so don't do that to yourself. It will only rehash the anxiety. The next question I get asked is, how can I predict if the person I'm dating is likely to be a cheat or not a cheat? Now, thing is, in relationships, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. In relationships, past behavior has a big impact on future behavior. Now, I'm not saying that's always the case. There are anomalies. But on the whole, if somebody has a cheating past, what that means is it suggests that they use a human connection as a coping mechanism. It doesn't mean we judge them, but this is what it essentially means. It means that when things get tough in a relationship, they don't like having the hard conversations. They don't like the breaking of the attachment and starting again. They don't like confronting and challenging the issue. What they prefer to do is soothe themselves through a connection with somebody else. Now, a lot of people say, oh, but men just like to have sex with other women, blah, blah, blah. But it's not actually that. I mean, the reality is, if that was the case, they would just... Hi guys, thank you for tuning in. For the rest of this video and for exclusive weekly content that you won't get anywhere else on the internet, make sure you join my Patreon. The link is in the bio. Not only will you be able to watch all my exclusive content, but you'll also be able to ask me a question anytime throughout the month. So thank you so much for watching. The links are in the bio.